This is the Defi podcast, episode 5. We've got a special guest with us today, Manny Arthur,
Boom,
aka Black Cyclist, founder of BCN, Black Cycling Network. Hi man.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
It's a privilege to be on this sofa.
For
the 5th episode.
Nice. Yeah, for sure, man. Tell us a bit about BCN and Black Cycling Network. Tell us a bit more.
Great. Thanks, Marlon. So the idea for the Black Cyclist Network is that I sort of looked around and it was just like, I feel like there is sort of a massive lack of diversity in cycling. And so I wanted to try and promote...
Massive lack of diversity.
Yeah, sorry. It's a lack of diversity in cycling. So I want to try and promote cycling within the sort of Black and minority ethnic communities. So that was the sort of intention behind it, just try and promote cycling within the community. And that's the reason why I set up the Black Cyclist Network.
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of like, how does it kind of operate, like with the regards of like rides and everything else? Like, tell us a bit more about, obviously, like, what you do within it as well.
So literally, I created a group, the Black Cyclist Network, in October last year. So we've only been running for like 3 months. Hasn't been that long at all.
No, but it's complete. Like, it's made a big impact in the scene for sure.
I'm actually, to be honest, I'm a little bit struck by how popular it has been, like how quickly the group has gained traction. So it actually started like earlier on at the start of the year. I was sort of thinking...
Start of 2018.
2018, sorry. So I had the idea in my head, the concept of sort of creating a network for, people of color in general. And I wanted to sort of build up a profile and build up some connections before taking on the idea. So I've spent quite a bit of time sort of building up connections with you, with Barrington, with Duke, and other riders that I see locally, that I've known for several years and, maybe for a couple of months as well. So initially it was just trying to get everyone together, and a small group first of all, and then letting the process take place. So letting those, established networks then contact other people to bring them into the network, and literally just started with about 20 members. And within like a couple of weeks, we had, membership increased into sort of 30, 40. And it was just people just going, oh, I know that other guy. He's, and sometimes people just coming into the group and going, oh my God, that's not you. And it was just like, and it's just really interesting because it was like, we don't see that many Black cyclists out there, but we're there. But it's just that we're all in different, clubs and different, walks of life. And it's like, but there's like a 6 degree of separation, so people know about about other things. Yeah, it really is. It's just like people have connections, but it's like I know Marlon, but I don't know Barrington, and I just like what? Actually, when you sort of bring us all together, we actually sort of a big community, and that's the initial idea, is just to bring people together, and then in the long run, the idea is to use that to promote. To use that, current sort of that group to try and promote cycling within sort of the Black minority and other, minority ethnic communities, by letting people know that actually there is, this is not an exclusive, it's not sort of like a white only thing. There are people out there that look like you, that are actually into the sport. And if you want to be a part of the sport, don't be disheartened. We have a group here that will sort of, bring you into the sport.
Yeah.
Because when I initially started out, my experience was quite different. I was like the only Black guy that I saw in the streets. So I want, for the new generation, especially sort of women in cycling, to be able to sort of have like that support network. Yeah. To be able to go to for advice and for tips. So that was the initial plan.
I mean, I do like, when I was cycling around like Regent's Park, for instance, when I did see another Black cyclist, I always felt obligated to say hello because they were Black. You know what I mean?
Isn't that funny? Because me and you be riding one way,
Yeah, yeah.
And we go and we see them and be like,
oh, what? I swear there's
it's true.
Trust me, like it's a good feeling, man. When you obviously see another
person that looks like you,
yeah. Just it just feels like it's a good feeling almost. Like, because
I'm not alone.
Trust.
For real, because when I first got into it, I was like, I didn't see much. Obviously, I had Barrington when I first started because I started. I can't remember what year it was, but this was years ago.
Yeah.
I first started. I saw Barrington, and then me and Barrington kind of just clicked because we had that kind of mutual, kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Mutual skin. I could say, yeah. So we just kind of got along through that, and like, it was really good from the beginning, and obviously seeing that. But not to say that was any coloured lines when I first started. It was very open, and I did like that about cycling.
Yeah,
but
I mean, generally my experience is kind of similar. The sport has been generally very open and warm towards me. But it's just the fact that, you know, when you move into a new sort of sport, it's like, it's completely alien environment. And it's like, you know, it's nice to know it can be,
it's daunting.
Yeah, it can be a bit daunting. Like, so for example, when I did my first race, I was the only black guy then. For you know, several years I've been racing, and it's like every time I turn up to a race, I'm the only black guy there. So it's, you know what I'm saying, it can be a bit daunting. On the other hand, you know, if you know that there are other people out there, there's a support network, there are other people out there that are like you and are doing the same sort of thing, then it's like, you're not alone.
It's okay,
And it's okay, and it's not weird or anything like that.
Do you think that's where the fixed gear scene and road cycling scene differs?
Yeah.
Hugely.
Yeah. I think the fixed gear scene is a bit more urban environment. So,
oh God, that word.
Yeah, that word. Yeah. So it's
urban.
It's, I don't know.
But that's the thing. As you were just saying, like you said, you find yourself the only black person when you was racing. Because obviously you done road races. Yeah. We started off with obviously fixed cycling, so there was a bit more of it in the fixed scene than the road scene. Because when I first started, I didn't think about getting a road bike at all. So when I did see the road races, I didn't see black people at all. Yeah. So it was kind of a thing where I was just like, I'm not really going to do that because I didn't really see a connection. I didn't see a connection with it.
Yeah.
In that sense, because when I did obviously start, it was with Ohana Fix, and there was a lot of mixed group. It was a mixed group.
Well, it was an ethnic group actually. Fix, so,
I think that's because like the fixed gear scene, you know, is mostly sort of inhabited by sort of like bike messengers and that sort of stuff. So it has that cool factor, and not to say the urban word again, but it is that sort of thing where it's just like, you know, you just jump in your bike and you ride and you have fun. Whereas, you know, if you're doing road racing, to me, I see that as more like a motorsport, like, you know, like a sort of Lewis Hamilton sort of environment where it's just like everything is expensive. Yeah, everything is expensive, and it's like everyone's got like £200, you know, shoes on. Mind you, the fixed gear scene has sort of become like that. You know, you got your expensive like skin suits on and stuff like that. But yeah, the road racing, you know, it's seen it's a bit more sort of it just feels elitist. You see what I mean?
Has it changed since you started?
No, I don't think it's changed much. If anything, it's just gone a bit more elitist in a way because everyone is sort of aspiring to look like pros.
Okay.
So everyone wants to, you know, have the most expensive sort of bikes. Everyone wants carbon rims, you know, look the part. You see what I mean? So it hasn't changed much.
Creates another line of separation, just in general. This ain't even a race thing. It's just just in general.
You got to weigh like 70 kilograms.
Who's got time?
Exactly. But
stress.
This is where sort of BCN comes in, because it's like it's just creating a platform for, you know, minority ethnic groups to actually talk about the sport. You see what I mean? Yeah. Whereas previously, like if they were to join, you know, any other club, so for example, Kingston Wheelers, Finsbury Park, they'll probably be the only black guy, the only black person there. But, you know, with the whole Black Cyclist network, there's a group out there, there's a WhatsApp group chat, you know, people can actually ask questions and not feel like, you know,
feel away about it.
Not feel aware of, you know what I'm saying? feel embarrassed to ask certain questions because the likelihood is we all go through we've all made similar mistakes. I've worn, boxer shorts under my bibs, so, but if you're, we've all done that, like literally.
It still makes me laugh, like.
So it's, so it's a common thing, but if you are in an environment where it's like you stick out, you're the only person that's black out there, or of color, then it's like you're more sort of perceptive of that. So you're thinking, I don't really want to ask a silly question because
because it would just be like, oh, it's typical.
I wonder how many people perceive me.
I know exactly how
you see what I mean. So that plays in your conscience. So the idea of having, and that's where having that support network such as the Black Cyclist Network is quite important, because I feel like people can come into our club as a sort of first step, because one thing we don't discourage is we don't stop people from joining clubs. The idea is most of our members have second cycling clubs, like, and for them BCN is like their second club. So I mean they have like a first club, and BCN is like their second club, where they their second home. And for many of our riders, BCN is going to be their first entry into cycling. You see what I mean? So they come in and it's a comfortable hub for them to learn about, cycling and ask stupid questions. And if they feel like, now, they've picked up and, they're willing to sort of progress to other clubs or take things more seriously, they can still do it with us, because, we do all kinds of, advanced training that other clubs don't do. But the idea is we're not a limiter and we don't put restrictions on people. We allow people to roam and do their own thing, and to make, but we're there to advise and to help people and to support people. That's the general intention. What's
the Instagram handle?
The Black Cyclist Network.
Yeah, no underscores.
All in one word.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, man. Just tell us a bit more, obviously, about yourself in a way. Like, we spoke about you racing, but like what like cycling, what do you do like day to day? I mean, just not to go too deep into it, like what do you do like as far as training and stuff like that?
I mean, in terms of training, I tend to do so I've set myself like a goal, a target of doing like 200 miles a week. Which I ended up sort of airing myself out on social media about it, because you know what it is, right? They say if you want to do something, so if you want to accomplish a goal, tell someone about it.
Yeah, make it public.
Make it public. Not necessarily make it public, but tell someone about it, and then you're sure to do it. But I partly sort of set myself the target because I wanted to encourage members of Black Cyclist Network to also sort of think a bit more about training properly and being consistent with your training. So I wanted to lead by example. So the idea is to ride 200 miles a week, and the other intention behind that is that I'm going to be doing a lot more racing this year. So my intention is to race a lot more than I did last year. I barely raced last year, so this year I want to be a bit more active in the racing. So I'm building up towards that as well. And as you know, we're still in January. So right now the idea is to sort of build, and adapt for the first couple of weeks. And then slowly, so you got to try and get the miles in the legs, and then slowly increase the intensity of your training session in time for to the start of the season. I think in the UK, pretty much the racing season doesn't really start until like April.
So why don't you race now to get those quick points in?
That's a good idea. It's just cold. It's cold out there. That's probably why I don't. The weather is a bit temperamental.
Yeah, trust.
And the key thing for me is I'm just trying to focus on just being consistent. Yeah, And I always say to everyone, like, the best way you can do that is just to ride your bike. Yeah. Don't focus too much about the intensity of the efforts and the training sessions.
Well, not yet anyway.
Not yet.
Not yet. Too soon.
Yeah, just build up towards it, because that's what the pros do. They just build, they prepare their body for that kind of the exertion that they're going to suffer. They're going to put out later on. And it's not, you can't just go from A to B. You can't go from doing nothing to all of a sudden you're doing intense training, because then it just completely ruins you.
Cooks you, yeah.
Yeah, and before you know, you're going to be disheartened and you're not going to be able to carry on, do your training. But if you actually build up towards it and prepare your legs for what's about to come, then when it does come and you're on week 4 and you start doing your intense efforts, then the body's more sort of,
So are you following like
to it.
A structured plan, or is it like a Manny go by whatever he wants plan?
I don't really follow a structured plan, but there is a bit of a structure to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So for the first 3 weeks of January, I've really pretty much not been doing any sort of serious threshold sessions. It's just been base. But I'm going to sort of kick into doing a bit more threshold stuff. So what I tend to do is, for example, during the week, I'll do like over and under intervals.
Yeah.
Once I get into that threshold phase, and it'll be like, so for example, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, or something like that, I might, be doing sort of like 250 watts for 2 minutes, and then up to 350 plus for 30 seconds. And I'll repeat that like 10 times, have like a 20-minute rest, a 10-minute rest, and then repeat that again.
Yeah.
And I'll do that kind of session, for example, during the week.
Yeah.
But then at the weekends, I'll do mostly
Just
base
general
rounds.
build, yeah.
Just,
yeah.
So for people that don't know, like, what is, because I still don't fully know, like, this whole VO2 and threshold stuff, like what is that? I mean, threshold, I suppose, is more the distance.
No, threshold is like,
or just the
it's what you can
just below your limit, I would say, or on your limit.
The threshold is like your limit. You're not talking about, it's not your 100%, but it's basically what you can sustain for like an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's super hard.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like
I actually find threshold sessions harder than like over and unders or VO2 max, because you just have to keep that consistent like number, and you just find that you have to find something from somewhere to go, let me keep going. Whereas the over and unders, they give you that let up of like, even if it's just a 30 seconds, you get to go and then hit it again.
Have you guys seen that thing on Cycle Weekly or something on YouTube? I think I sent you it. It's one where you do 2 30 seconds like full out, and then 6 seconds full out, and then 2 30 seconds full out, and then 4 minutes. And apparently this is how they gauge how they
is it like a power curve?
I don't know what it's called, but this is how they gauge whoever wants to join like the pro team. I think that's what it was. I saw this random video on YouTube, like, and I saw a couple of guys trying to do it, and they're saying that how I can't get the stats up, but they said that's what they do to test a pro cyclist, which I think is pretty shit, considering if that's it, surely people like for our stats can do that as well. Like to a certain amount of watts. I don't know.
I was going to say like they hit different numbers.
They gauged it a lot from like what's that thing?
I can't remember what I think I know what you're saying. I think Greg LeMond had like 90 on the
something like that.
There's I can't remember what the term is, but it's like, they can literally from that they can gauge whether you've got the capacity to be a professional racer.
Okay.
Or like Egan Bernal's got like 92 of, I can't remember what the term is, but he's got like this ridiculous peak, and it's like most average people are probably like 60s or 70s when it comes to it.
Okay. So, I've never checked that.
To be honest, I don't really pay too much attention to that. And in order to get that done, I think they need to clip your ear and get your blood sample, and that's
because then it checks the lactate levels and stuff. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Wow. To that extent.
But when it comes, I don't really focus too much on sort of training. I'm not a stickler for the details in that sort of sense. I'm just focusing on just riding my bike and trying to enjoy it, because at the end of the day, being consistent is the thing that's gonna lead you to success.
Do you go gym?
I don't.
You don't? So you're just strictly riding?
I used to do a bit of gym session like a couple of years back, but I just get bored at the gym.
Really?
I just go there and start yawning. Like, honestly, like there's a period when I was going there, doing deadlifts, I was benching. I don't know why I benched a little bit, but I was doing squats as well.
Is that your worry of getting bigger because you want to keep your stature? Is that the reason why you don't want to go?
You know what, Marlon? I'll tell you something. My missus don't like. She doesn't like it when I get skinny. Like
really?
Yeah. But the thing is, right? In racing, I've never really. The only people that have ever put me in trouble during racing is skinny guys.
The small guys, yeah.
I've never had to worry about a big guy in a race.
They usually blow up. That's the thing.
Honestly, I've been out sprinted by skinny guys, and like, you know, I'm just like, how the hell are you packing so much power in that little skinny body? This is effectively like an endurance sport, to be honest. So the whole gym thing, and that's the other thing about the gym thing, right? So a lot of people go gym, right? And they'll be like benching and squatting all these like numbers and, you know, massive weights. But then they forget to activate their, you know, their calves, their glutes. And then it's like, what's the point? Yeah. You see what I mean? Yeah. So my advice to anyone that wants to sort of like be fast on a bike is, first of all, when you're riding, learn to tense your bloody legs when you're you know, putting out an effort. Because you won't believe how many people literally ride their bikes and they ride with like sort of like flip, like I never really thought of it that way. So literally, for example, like if you're teaching someone to box, right, and you're saying to them, look, I want you to punch with power, and they do that, you're like, you ain't hurting nobody. But if they tense up their arms like this, right, you know, that Bruce Lee sort of thing, they go, now you feel it. You see what I mean? Okay. It's completely different. Yeah. And a lot of people do not activate their legs. And so, you know, you see pros.
Yeah, like, some people like quad dominant only. Yeah.
But generally, like your whole, like, you're never really, when you're cycling, you're not really, your legs are never supposed to be super relaxed. They always have to be some sort of semi-activated state. So like you see videos of pros when they're shredding and they're riding, right? They're going all out, and you see their calves, right? Their legs, and you see like a massive dent in it because they have the legs super activated. Yeah, and that's where they get that power from. So if you're out there doing the gym stuff and you're not activating your legs during the ride, then you're not really
using the power correctly.
You're not using the power correctly.
Oh, I don't really think of it that way. Because Tuesday when I'm sprinting on like a spin bike, like some wazzing, bro. You just feel everything like just shaking.
But you probably just do it out of habit. Like you don't think about it. It's just you know, out of nature, isn't it? Like
definitely. But man, like, is there anything you wanted to add? Like
what towards gym? Well, like with gym, I go to the gym. So
I know I've seen your topless pictures.
You should have seen him that year we went to Barcelona.
Yeah.
Oh my days. This guy was posing in the mirror, but I was like, raw.
That skin suit every chance he gets.
But like, I go to the gym because I've said previously that I'm very conscious of how I look on my upper body. Yeah. But this year I've been using my training program differently and been focusing primarily on legs, leg activation, glutes, etc. And since doing it, actually, I don't know if my FTP's gone up just because of my bike training, or because of the gym assisted with it as well. Yeah. Like max output's gone up by like 3%. My FTP's gone up from 282 to 286, 287. It's not that high. I know that's cool, but for me, like it's what works. Yeah. And other people, like for you, just the gym thing doesn't work. So what do you say to someone who's getting into cycling, who doesn't have like a base to work from at all? What's their answer for like building strength? Because it can't just be riding the bike.
I think the main focus has to be, you know, about the bike, because at the end of the day, that's the main, that's the core of what you're doing. So for example, one of the ways to build strength within your legs is without going to the gym is by doing like hill reps, for example, or by, riding in the biggest gear. And doing like
stomps,
doing like 70 RPMs, like, and by really going like, trying to push the biggest gear, and like, and that will sort of, build the strength that you need in your legs. But generally just ride your bike, get your legs sort of adapted to sort of riding, and it will come with you. Like you build that fitness, that strength. But the thing is, if you're just going gym, you find yourself going gym a lot, and you're not riding your bike, then you're losing your fitness.
No, but what I'm saying, well, if you pair it perfectly, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I go gym only 2 days a week, and it is only legs and back and posterior chain, and then the other 5 days I'm on the bike. So the pairing is it's a 5-to-2 ratio, clearly.
Okay.
Like how would you describe something like that? Is that a bad thing? Is that
No, not necessarily. I mean? The only thing is that, you know, if you're going, for example, you got to really understand your body. So if you're going gym and it's affecting, you know, your output on the bike, then you need to back it off a little bit. Or, you know, you might, you know, instead of focusing on lifting super heavy weights and trying to see what your maximum, you know, how much you can lift, maybe you should concentrate on, like, you know, doing smaller reps, but doing it more explosively.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So you're mimicking that sort of explosive power. And that'd be my only advice. But generally, I'd just be like, you know, just ride your bike. And
so what is it you do for recovery? Do you, are you a protein guy?
No, not really. I don't take protein.
No supplements at all?
No.
Not even like multivitamins or anything like that?
I do take some multivitamins because I catch a cold pretty easily.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what do you do? What do you eat for your recovery? Like, obviously to rebuild because you're doing 200 miles a week.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
Like to need to recover, like what food would you say that you eat that will keep you going for that amount of time?
So for breakfast, I have like a porridge, like, and they say sultanas are good, but like I'm not really a big fan of it. But yeah, I don't take any sugars. So I have porridge, and I have my porridge with honey as a replacement for sugar. And then I completely undo that by eating peanut M&Ms because I'm addicted to peanut M&Ms, which, as you know, is sugar coated. It's awful. And then and sort of like
wait, this is in the morning.
Well, if I got the pack there, I have a bit, you know. Oh my God. I throw it a bit into my porridge.
I guess there's no difference to like porridge. I guess no difference to Frosties. So.
And then, in the afternoon, I might, you know, do a little Tesco shop because if I'm at work, I might have a bit of soup with, you know, a sandwich or something like that. And then in the evenings, I tend to have like a sweet potato.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and I cut it up and boil them and have it with some sort of stew or something like that.
You eat meat?
Yeah.
Okay.
All types of meat.
Yeah, like
cool. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like whatever. So what's your bike story? What's your history? What is the ride that broke you or the ride that made you?
Well, just in general, like so I got into cycling and back seriously. I got into cycling like in 2011, but it wasn't a serious thing. It just got into it because a couple of mates and myself decided to ride our bikes from London to Copenhagen, Denmark, for charity. It was a crazy idea because before that I'd do like an average of sort of 50 miles a week, and I was just a basic general commuter. Yeah, that's all I just used my bike just to commute to work and back. And my commutes were like 6 miles. So for the average for the whole week, I'll probably do like 50 miles. And with that said, like on a Friday, I'll just give myself a rest because I thought it's hard.
You're pooped.
Yeah. I used to worry that my bike would break after 1,000 miles. Like,
that was some Carrera bike.
Real talk. I did not. Back then, I believed that a bicycle did not last a year.
Thinking of it like a car engine.
Yeah.
So you had cleats and everything when you done this?
I didn't. So
you started with flats.
Yeah. So I started with flats then. So yeah, we literally we ended up racing like, so we did it 2011.
Wait, you rode to Copenhagen on flats?
Yes. I did on flats.
Fuck me.
So we
must have been bunning.
What shoes were you wearing?
I can't remember, but I had like this Planet X sort of calf and back bike, which was like it had disc brakes, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was a cyclocross bike or something, but I had
flat.
And we literally had like panniers on the back of, I had panniers and that. So the idea was like every day.
The thought process must have been wild.
Listen, you see this right here, yeah? If you see I've got a picture of me. I think I was in Belgium at the time. The picture was taken in Belgium. So I'm riding my bike, right? I've got the panniers on the side. We're headed towards Copenhagen, and you see me in an Adidas bib shorts, right? With the bib sort of hanging out like this, right? And it's there because I used to think that I didn't know what these were designed for back then. So I didn't actually know that it was meant to be like that. So I just literally used to just let them hang out.
Swag.
Under my t-shirt. and literally that's how I wore my bib shorts. So it goes to show just how much I knew absolutely nothing. So every day we do this, like, we ride like 100 miles to, what do you call it? To a hostel. Through Europe to a hostel. Sleepover. So day one was like London to Dunkirk. Day two was Dunkirk to Bruges. And we pull up at a hostel that we had sort of pre-planned. Go grab something to eat, and then the next day we'd be
How long did it take you in general over?
It took us, I think, 11 days. Yeah, to get to Denmark.
Every day,
to get to Copenhagen.
Miles.
Would you do that again?
Yeah, I would. Because initially, like, I remember when we got to Copenhagen, I was like, my face had gone gaunt and everything. Like, I looked like I'd not eaten. And I
Skeletor.
We caught the train, the ferry back to Harwich. And I remember coming back into England, to London, and thinking, I don't ever want to do this again. My butt was hurting. I was just like, no, I'm not going to do this again. And it's like, about 3 months down the line, I was like, I kind of miss that feeling,
Yeah.
Once I started commuting again, I was like, I miss the feeling of just riding 100 miles and, checking out villages. Because as a feeling of cycling, it's just, it gives you that freedom, makes you feel like a child again. So I was missing that feeling. And from then on, I was like, you know what, let me just get a proper bike and sort of get into it again.
Yeah.
And then so went from that, joined the cycling club, and then started riding. And then in 2014, I decided I wanted to race. So I remember going to, my first race was actually, I think around April 2014. I raced at Milton Keynes. They've got like a circuit there called the Milton Keynes Bowl.
Yeah.
It's just a round sort of, circuit. I remember sort of training a month in the lead up to that first crit. It was a road crit.
Imagine thinking a month was enough.
Oh, dude. So listen. I remember like a month before that, I bought myself one of those turbo trainers, right? And I didn't really know much about turbo training, so I bought like the cheapest thing. It was like 100 quid. That's expensive, but yeah, I just got it anyway. Yeah. And I was like in my living room just training, right? No fan, the heater's on. I'm sweating.
Man said the heater was on.
My heart rate is at 140 BPM. Yeah. For like that 45-minute workout. So like I do like 3 or 4 workouts a week, right? And it'll just be like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So like just your basic spin class, heart rate averaging at 142. So I'm thinking, this is good. Like, I'm going to kill these guys when I turn up for the race. I'm all hyped up thinking I'm the man, because first time sort of doing this consistent thing, but not actually understanding the numbers. So I did not know what my functional threshold was. All I thought was 142. I'm sweating, going through towels. So I'm thinking I'm working hard. Turned up on the day of the race. Only black guy there, right? I'm thinking, all right, but I had a bit of prejudice in me, because I was thinking like...
Just gauging everyone, looking at everyone's legs.
Because I just thought my opinion of cycling was that it was an elitist sport, rich farmers, farmer kids just turn up and, to ride their bikes, the expensive bikes.
Still is an elitist sport.
It still pretty much is, but the perception I had was that I just thought like, you watch the Tour de France and it's like, they're barely sweating. Yeah. They look, it looks like they're not really putting that much effort, right? So it's deceptive. So I thought that, because I was sweating and everything, I thought, I'm gonna ace it. I'm going to nail it. So I turn up on the day now. I start at the front, they wave the flag, and within like 20 seconds, I look back and there's no one behind me. And I'm like, hang on, didn't I just start at the front? Where is everyone? I look back in front and everyone's up ahead. And like the gap is just getting bigger. And I'm just thinking, I look down, I'm thinking, no, it can't be this bad. I look down, my heart rate is at 172 beats per minute. I've never reached, mind you, I'm used to doing 140. Like I'm thinking I'm working, I'm like, my heart is beating, chest burning, but I'm just thinking, shit, this is hard.
Yeah.
Why didn't anyone tell me about this? Like, it's gonna be this hard. And the only thing that made me sort of get back in was just the pure embarrassment of knowing that I'm the only black guy there. And I didn't want to so the circuit sort of loops around.
Power, passion.
Do you know what, that come over me as well? Like when I done that road race, where was we?
Ken. Was that in Ken?
Yeah. So when I done that one, I felt exactly the way you did as well. Even though I was with Barrington, but Barrington obviously had a mechanical.
Yeah.
So I felt like, no, I have to go ham on this race. Yeah. So me like an idiot, I stayed in the front the whole race. And then when it come to the sprint, I had nothing left. I was like the last lap, I held the whole race.
Yeah, you shut down everyone.
And then, but I didn't know how to, obviously that was my first ever race. So I didn't know how to, road race, should I say, sorry.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to kind of gauge.
Yeah, pace your effort.
Yeah, so I was just like, led the whole lot. I thought that's the thing to do, like not to let anyone go off. Like, I was like, okay, cool. So I done the whole thing and then.
You were strong.
But the whole race, like I was at the front. And then, when it come to the sprint, I was like, not left. I passed the finish line just like this.
Yeah.
I just rolled right past the finish line.
I would have loved to have been you because you were at the front, right? Just putting the hammer down. I was the guy at the back, literally going,
putting the hammer down. No.
And do you know what?
Don't leave me.
These guys were saying as well, like that how you was going really fast. I didn't think in my head I was going that fast, but the guys at the back were telling me this. So I was thinking, you're going really quick, man. I was like, it didn't feel like that. I mean, because obviously you're at the front, you feel different things to what everyone else was at the back. But from what they were saying, like, it made me feel like, oh shit, maybe I was doing.
Were you sort of riding with people and training before you hit that first race?
Road race. This is my first road race. So I was racing crits, but like I didn't know how to gauge road races because they're completely different.
But fair enough. So you had that sort of fitness, that level,
the history,
the history.
Yeah.
I was completely
green.
I'm like, I'm used to 50 miles like a week. You see what I mean? So I did not know anything about training or anything like that. So I was just chasing after Strava segments. So I do these 20 seconds Strava segments and think I'm the man because I've just sprinted 20 seconds. So I had no idea what I was doing. I'm not used to pedaling a bike for like an hour. So when I entered this race, I was just like, I didn't. And I had this like blow to the ego thinking that it's actually going to be better than I was, but it was completely,
I still look at times now on a race and feel like, 45 minutes, this is going to be a long race. Like in the back of I still can't get over that mentality where I know how long the race is going to be. So I'm just thinking, 45 minutes, am I going to last this long? In the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, the last year I might blow up.
You know what I would do to you right now if I was racing with someone like you? I'd be like, oh, go on, man. And yeah, mate, you are strong today. Yeah, let's get it.
Chase
that down. You got him. Yeah, let's bring that back. Come on, man. And I'll just be sitting in, like, yeah. Last up. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then just come around you and just be like, oh, mate.
Often the strongest racer doesn't win, isn't
it? Flip it out, man. Like it's such a mind fuck when you're in a race sometimes. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of factors that you don't acknowledge, but after the fact of after everything, after the race is done, you think back and you think, like I thought a bit too much about certain things, like you didn't really need to think about at the time. Like, I'm thinking about everything at the beginning of the race. But tire pressure, I'm thinking, I never used to think about that. Like tire pressure, why are you talking about tire pressure? Like everything, like, is my chain all right? Is my gears this, that, blah, blah. I think it's more so harder on a fixed than it is on, well, for me it's more fixed. Because there's a lot, there's less factors, but there's more because you can't gauge everyone else like how you can in the road race.
I mean, I guess, and when you do all this sort of like, because it's sort of mostly based in London, like where I race, it's like you get to to get a feel for who the player, the big hitters are.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So like, and to me, I'm at that point where it's just like when I enter a race, I'm just always calm.
Yeah.
I'm just, relaxed. And
do
that's
you
the best way to be.
Do you get race emotion? So while you're in a race, do you feel the emotions of the race? Do you ever feel like, oh yeah, here's the high point. I feel good. And then get the low point. Do you know that it's happening during the race, or is it a look back factor? So you go, oh yeah, at this point in the race, I felt good. At this point in the race, I felt bad. Like, do you feel that emotion?
Yeah, I think you go through a myriad of emotions. Oh, just before we just get on that, let me just go back in time just to qualify one thing. I did not get dropped in that race, okay?
Okay.
I managed to hang on for the rest of the race, but yeah, it was horrible. But I did not get dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, so generally, like when I'm racing, you obviously go through a lot of emotions. My initial thing is I'm always sort of worried about how my legs are before the race. Yeah. So there is that bit of what's the word?
Nerves.
A bit of nerves. Yeah.
Do you have like pre-race rituals? Like, do you do things like before every race? You don't have any of that?
No, I don't have any of that.
What about you?
No, man. I used to, and then I stopped it. And ever since I stopped doing it, I've improved.
Yeah.
Like,
stopped what though? What
just like doing certain things, like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, set up my Garmin perfectly, whatever. Like all my best results, my own personal results, have all come when I've never had a race camera.
Yes, because you think
Garmin.
less.
I haven't got nothing to think about.
Yeah.
I still do rub my legs in
Tiger Balm.
I still do that. I don't know why. Like, I just read somewhere that someone done that, and I thought, yeah. It's funny enough, the guy that I read that off, he got caught for doping. What's his name? What's that guy's name? He was racing Red Hawk. Oh, I can't remember his name. He was on IRD.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name now.
Paz something?
Duque.
Something like that. Yeah, whatever his name is. But
Mario
Paz. That's it. Yeah.
So what did he get? Like what for robbing Tiger Balm?
No.
I get it.
That was something else.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have none. You don't do any.
No, I don't have any rituals. I literally just turn. My whole thing is like for the first few laps, right? I'm always looking around, like checking out where I can move up, where I can't. So there's the thing I love about crit racing, right? So if crit racing is fairly easy once you start to understand the flows and the patterns. So throughout the whole race, right? Like until like the last 5 laps or so. All I'm doing is I'm just observing. I'm just looking around to see where I can move up, where I cannot move up, where things bunch up, where it doesn't. So I'm making all those calculations, and I'm thinking, okay, all for the last lap. You see what I mean? So when the last lap comes, I've got the pattern in my head. I'm like, this is where it usually bunches up. This is where you need to be, and the wind is blowing this way, so. When that on that last lap, you want to be in this side, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't prepare you to act on instinct. Yeah. You see what I mean? So in a lot of ways, because I like to sprint, things can get chaotic in the last sort of like on the last lap of a race. So one of the best advice someone gave me was my man Greg gave me was that. Before an actual sprint, you've got to do several mini sprints to maintain your position.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
Makes so much sense. Yeah.
So, and I never understood that. So for a long time, I'd just been racist, right? And then I'll be like, top 5, and then on the last lap, I go from being top 5 to all of a sudden I'm back in like 30th, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And
that happened in my first race at Lee Valley. I spent a lot of time like near the front, and then last lap, I was just like. And that always used to bug me, like, because you just get boxed in. There's nothing you can do. But then what you got to do is like the minute a bike racing is basically it's positioning is basically you just going around in little circles in circles. It's the washing machine effect. So at certain grid points in the race.
So when you're riding in the bunch, right? You're basically in a massive bunch, right? And it can either be going, clockwise or counterclockwise. So the movement of the the bunch is either going clockwise or counterclockwise.
For people taking turns.
Yeah, people coming over, pushing over and stuff like that. So when you get to the front, the key to sort of stay in, they always say, if you want to be safe and you want to, win, you need to be top 20.
Yeah.
So the key to staying, top 20, staying at the front is once you get to the front, you're seeing that you've got to imagine that you're still in that washing machine vortex.
Yeah.
So you cannot stay in that same spot. You don't ever stay in the middle, because then if there's a rush from the right and it goes, then you lose your position, you get dragged back. If there's a rush on the left, you get dragged back.
Yeah.
So you always want to be either on the left side or the right side, and you want to be seeing yourself going around in those little circular motions. And that's the way you stay. So as soon as you see someone moving, coming through on your right, you want to be joining them.
Yeah.
And the idea is you join them and you get to the front, and then you come back and you join, and you're constantly moving.
Okay.
And if you're on the left, you're constantly moving, but you don't ever try and stay left and stay in the middle, because that's the easiest way for you to get dragged back. And usually, so for a long time, I'll be like, in the middle, top 10, last 2 laps, and I just all of a sudden end up 30th, and I'm like, I almost had the sprint, and I just wasn't in contention. So as soon as you see that coming in, you just have to have that instinct to be like, I need to sprint now.
Yeah.
Make that quick sprint to go with the guys that are, pushing in on the left. If you want to remain top 5 or top 10. Because if you don't, they'll just go straight past and you're getting dragged back. And so that's the logic, that you need to sort of, do those little mini sprints before the actual sprint itself. So if you get in the habit of thinking that, then you always get good placings. Whether you win or not, you always be in a good position.
Yeah.
Do
you get really competitive when you're racing? Like, because you're a very friendly guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very.
Do you change when you're racing? Like, do you get not say aggressive, but do you like get that kind of
a shouter?
I've had a couple of incidents. There's one notable one which was at a Velo Park, and it did not end well because I came off my bike. I crashed, but it was just generally because we were racing, right, and then one guy had been dropped, right, and I was coming through and I was on the front, and I was like, yo dude, like, move out of the way, and he just said fuck off.
Wow.
Yeah, like, cause, I coming, when I think about it now, I can understand why, because he's been dropped and whatever, he's frustrated. But as soon as he said that, I just caught a red mist and just pulled up next to him and be like, let's go. And so the race is still going, people pushing past me, and I'm just like, literally just like, this, like, now, like, I'm ready to fight. And because I just didn't understand, like, why would you, like, I was just basically telling you.
That is irritating, like, when the guys, when people, you're obviously dropped, you're still in the race, like, you're getting lapped at this point.
Yeah.
Why are you there?
Yeah,
move to the side.
Why
are you even racing?
I was just like, we're coming through. Just move to the side, sort of thing. I was just like, hey, come through. Yeah, and just his reaction, just because I remember that the race itself was a bit nervous to begin with. It was a bit edgy, people. So when that happened, it just completely lost it. And then on the last lap, we're going down the bend, right? And I squeezed between 2 guys as we're going through the bend. And then next minute, I knew I was down on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know if someone clipped my back wheel, but we went into flipped over, and someone actually caught it on the GoPro.
Was it Hillingdon or?
No, it was at Bella
Park. Sorry.
So and so afterwards, it just seemed like I was the troublemaker. So one fella turned up, was like, "Oh, it was that black guy. He was having words to the other guy." I'm just like, I was like, "Oh yeah,
easy to point out,
isn't it?" And I was just like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
But it also turned out during that race, my girlfriend and her mom came to watch me race. So maybe I think that added pressure probably might have worked against me.
Okay.
But yeah, But generally, I'm really like easygoing guy. So when we're racing, I'll just come up to people and just chat with them and just be like, hey, grab their pockets and that sort of stuff, and be like, can you give me a tow? Like, I do all of that sort of stuff. So I don't really take seriously until like the last couple of laps, and then I go
like full mode.
Then you switch on. Wow.
Then I switch on. Unless also like if there's a break down the road, I'm quite vocal, so I'll be like, but it's good that, like, you know, I will shout at people and tell them to, you know,
to do some work,
close the gap, you know, do some work. If you don't want to do the work, just get off the front. Because that really annoys me. If there's a break up ahead and I see guys literally make an effort to get to the front and then sit,
just pull,
and just like,
that's exactly how I felt at that.
Do a 20-second, you know, effort. Come back in.
Yeah.
Don't just hang your stand back. You just get out of the way.
True.
Man, yeah. So quickly tell us before we head out, like the future plans for BCN and where you plan to go for this year.
Oh, I'm not giving that away.
No, not any secret bits, but obviously stuff you just want to spread, like obviously.
So yeah, the BCN thing is just going really well. There's a lot of love. We've got a lot of members. I've just been surprised by, you know, how popular the whole thing's taken off. Obviously, you've seen since October, I've just been making effort to record some of our group rides. So we usually post some of our group rides on Instagram, videos of it. I like to edit them and, you know, post it to give people a flavor of
what kind of music do you put behind it.
Oh man, all types of music. Listen, I've got such an eclectic taste in music. Before anyone,
Sean Paul,
you know, before anyone starts, I was like, I think I'm the only one. I was the first one on Strava to start naming my rides after songs. I've seen a few people do it, but I started doing that from way back.
Yeah. It's always like a grime reference or something.
Yeah, purely because like I like to share my music and some of my musical taste. So, and it's just really like I listen to rock music, etc. So like as well as grime and, you know, so when it comes to my music, it's very eclectic. So I just like to share it. So I share it on my Strava. So my Strava rides, I always name it after the song that sort of inspired me at that moment in time. Yeah. So, but in terms of BCN, the plan really is just to grow it and to, you know, get new members in, you know, and this summer is just going to be great. You know, just want to develop the brand a bit more. Yeah. But the general idea is, like, my whole thing is, in order for BCN to be successful, we need to have a lot of sort of like women of color sort of be part of it. So the reason the idea behind it is that I feel like, you know, Black women and general women of color are the most marginalized group in cycling. Like there aren't, well, maybe that's not the right term. What I mean by that is,
don't go Kanye on us.
You don't see many Black women, you know, cycling. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
And so, you know, I want to try and promote that. And also I want to, you know, you see a lot of young kids nowadays, like, you know, they'll be on the bikes, they're doing wheelies and, you know, and playing chicken with like cars and stuff like that. Yeah. And so there's a lot of potential there with that sort of, you know,
with their skill.
They've got a lot of skill, but they don't know how, you know, where to take it. So my idea is that, you know, I want to create that sort of brand and sort of build up the publicity around it. So, you know, so kids like that, like, we can be sort of the route for them to enter cycling, for example. So if they decide they want to, you know, take it more seriously, then BCN is there for them to sort of provide that support in the long run. At the moment, we're not funded by anyone, so I'm literally just, you know, it's just a network at the moment. Where we are is we're just a group of people there to support and provide advice for each other to set up group rides. So we have regular group rides. We meet up in Regent's Park, and on alternative weeks we meet up in Richmond Park, and then every month or so we do like a big ride out to, you know, Brighton, Cambridge, Chelmsford. We literally just you know, that's what we do. So yeah, the idea is to try and expand the brand, not just, you know, because currently we're sort of based in London, so the idea is to expand it all around the UK and maybe potentially worldwide. Depends on how we get on. But I feel like, you know, there's a lot of room there for us to expand, and I just want to see more people, especially women, you know, get into cycling through one form or another.
All right, sounds all good, man. Thanks for coming along. Hopefully hear from soon.
Yeah. Subscribe, like, comment.
Oh yeah, we always we done this last time.
Yeah.
The subscribe stuff. Subscribe, follow, like, Defi Collective, Black Cyclist,
Black Cyclist Network.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Boom.
We're doing it right this time.
Keep it tight.
Yeah, man, for sure. Peace, guys.